So, guten Morgen. Herzlich willkommen zum Cloud ERP Livestream. Ja, da sind wir mal wieder nach langer Zeit. Ich hoffe, man kann uns gut verstehen hier. Und ja, willkommen, ich muss mal gucken hier gerade noch, ob der Audio gut funktioniert. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, Desktop Audio, Mixer hier. Ah ja, genau. Audio funktioniert, wunderbar. Okay. Ja, ich wünschte, es wären bessere Randbedingungen, weswegen wir uns wieder treffen, uns unterhalten über Cloud ERP und so wie wir es üblicherweise im letzten Jahr auch gerne gemacht haben, über die Weiterentwicklung und so weiter. Doch ja, die aktuellen Ereignisse überschlagen sich und es ist notwendig, darüber zu sprechen. Es ist notwendig, darauf einzugehen, wie wir im Bereich SAP ERP oder ERP allgemein, Cloud ERP, mit den Trade Wars umgehen, die vor der Tür stehen. And I'll switch to English now because now also we can welcome our English-speaking audience, and because it's an international topic, obviously. So many are affected. Let me check again if this transmission here from. Okay, yeah, that works. Good, wonderful. So I've not live streamed for just a while, so I need to set up everything right and fine. But yeah, let's dive into that. Okay, what do we have here? Nice. So there we go. There we go. Okay. Share the screen so that we can see, and switch for and there, and then so it's a rough start, but everything is rough in these moments. So there we go. And screen share main. There we go. Okay. Just make it big so you can see me. Yeah. We all hoped it wouldn't happen, but actually it happened. Yeah. Last week, President Trump announced retaliatory tariffs on countries around the world. I don't know if we should make a list of those countries who have not been tariffed. Maybe that would be faster. And they are quite substantial, these tariffs. As we can see, Japan 24%, Taiwan 32%, Vietnam 46%, European Union 20%, China 34%, Switzerland 31%. So that is insane taxes imposed, and they will be coming into effect as current plans are on Wednesday actually. Yeah, so it is quite short notice. It's not usual way of doing things actually. Yeah? And we have been caught up off guard somewhat. Yeah, so it's we all hoped it wouldn't happen. We all hoped it was empty, so to say, threatening, and we had many scenarios. Some were good, some were not so good, and the actual scenario that happened is worse than the bad scenarios that we imagined. And yeah, so if you have watched the stock market is down substantially. Yeah, it's S&P year to date minus 13%, it's substantial. So, and if you have a stock portfolio, it's not the day of rejoicing. Actually, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. And yeah, so we are not here to discuss politics. We are here to understand the implications of politics onto economy, onto our company, onto our business processes. But today it's very hard to discuss because if we look at the market volatility, yeah, it's extreme fear, as we say. Yeah, so measured on the fear and greed indicator that represents many indicators from the market, like volatility of stocks. Yeah, so if stocks make big jumps, volatility is high. It's panic selling, actually. Yeah? Panic selling, and I've read this morning about even margin calls for institutional investors. Margin calls are triggered if your investment is over leveraged. So if you have more like debt than assets, simply put, so to say. And then it's forced to sell your stock shares, and this triggers even more selling, and so on and so on. So it's yeah, it's a severe situation, actually. Yeah? Severe situation. It's not something to be taken lightly. Yeah. So if we have a look at this indicator, extreme fear indicator, yeah? Currently from the scale from 0 to 100. It's about 7, yeah, 7, extreme fear. So it's not the time to rejoice, actually. Yeah, and it was even 1 month ago it was 11, so it wasn't in a good place, actually. Yeah, and typically you would say, no, it's 4, actually. Yeah, 4 of 0 to 100, and yeah, some would say, okay, I need to buy now, yeah, but be careful, be very careful. It's it can get worse. Yeah. And as we speak about worse, let's speak also about wars, yeah, trade wars, upcoming trade wars. So these tariffs have triggered some negotiations. Actually, Vietnam has already had negotiations with Trump, and it seemed like because Trump says, these are just retaliatory tariffs. Yeah? So Vietnam tariffs us, so we tariff them. Yeah, yeah, and there's some truth to it. Although nobody knows how these tariffs charged to the US is calculated. Yeah, actually, this is not true. Not true. Yeah. These are actually trade deficits. And this is not, as it is titled, tariffs charged to the to the USA. Yeah, it is trade deficits, actually, and trade deficits are a completely different thing than tariffs. But yeah, so these were the reason why this whole thing began, and we can hope that negotiations will lead to agreements. Like in the case of Vietnam here, they had a trade deficit of 90%, not really tariffs, but trade deficit with US. And yeah, so they started negotiating. Yeah, that's good. And 50 other countries have also said they want to negotiate, which is good. The European Union doesn't seem to negotiate, which is bad. So it's, we don't exactly know what happened if now European Union will retaliate also again to those tariffs. Yeah, here 20%. And then we have a trade war. And already China has decided to retaliate, and they will also have taxes on US goods for 34% also as well. 34% I believe. Yeah, so look it up. And so that is going into a trade war. Yeah, it's not to be taken lightly, and nobody profits actually from a trade war. And yeah, even I must say this morning I read reports about these tensions increasing, yeah, also into tensions of potentially real war, which is not so much a surprise, because we all hoped that there be peace in China versus Taiwan, but now it seems like not necessarily. So this trade war might even trigger. And what happens then if China attacks Taiwan? That'll be bad. That'll be very bad. You know where all our chips are produced? It's actually in China, yeah. Actually in Taiwan. Sorry, Taiwan. So what do we do if we get no chips anymore? Yeah, for everything we are left with Intel from US. I don't know if that's the solution. That's really, really, really bad. Really, really, really bad situation. So we hope that can be avoided, but if it cannot be avoided, then we will have other big supply chain disruptions. And also China has announced that they will reduce the export of rare earth. So these are some names I even cannot cannot even pronounce. Rare earth. These are needed for chip productions, for example. And let me see if I can look some of these up here. Seltene Erden. Yeah. So these rare earth exports, they are necessary for production of our technologies. But yeah, if China does reduce these rare earth exports, which they already announced, then we have other supply chain problems, because we are missing these necessary components, which are needed for the production of technology components like chips and for batteries, for EVs, electrical cars, and so on and so on. So that is, I must laugh, because I have heard one or the other say, okay, then then switch on your SAP model GRC, global trade, GTS, I think it's called, global trade and tariff, and then everything will be fine. No, that is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah, of course you can make a tax compliant form submission, but if you cannot produce, if you cannot deliver, because you have not your suppliers anymore, yeah, supplies of existential raw materials, yeah, your production will stop. You have to look for different suppliers. You have to, and prices of that components will skyrocket, and yeah, to some degree we have gone through this already in COVID, but yeah, what now? What about now? Yeah, the implications, they are much deeper than just another tax form. This is serious. This is serious. So, yeah, we come to again back what we presented after COVID, which is there was this poll about companies who did digital digital transformations, and they are so-called leaders and so-called aspiring. Aspiring is another word for lagging behind, actually. Yeah, and this was, so to say, the result of this IDC, sponsored by SAP, a guide to growth, global analysis of defining characteristics of leading mid-sized companies. This was among mid-sized companies from January 2023, and was the question: effective response to disruptions over the last 2 years. Last 2 years was including COVID back then. And 91% of the leaders in digital transformation, they said, yeah, we could effectively respond to these disruptions. Yeah. But only 40% of those who were aspiring, so to say, lagging behind of digital transformation, they said we could respond effectively over the last 2 years. This is these disruptions. So if you have a good progress in digital transformation, you can respond effectively to disruptions. If you are lagging behind in digital transformation, you cannot respond to disruptions effectively. And that's the bottom line, basically. Excuse me. Yeah, maybe I'll take a sip of coffee in the meanwhile. That's good for the nerves. So, okay, so what do we do? This is what we always say. We say, okay, fast time to insight, fast time to adapt. That's key now. That's key now to survive this crisis. Yeah? It's very simple, actually. Yeah? You have to understand. We have to understand how does this hit us, our business. Yeah. First thing to ask, okay, are we a US company? Are we a European company? Have we some of our subsidiaries in Europe, in US, in China, or whatever, yeah, around the globe? So, and what are the trade relations between them? Which of these trade relations are affected? Which kind of trades do we have? Do we have goods? Do we have services? Because seemingly, as far as I know, you can correct me, services are not affected, just goods, so to say, yeah, materials. But and then we break it down. We break it down. Okay, what is this export, import, good consist of? Yeah, how much of that car, which I produce in the US, for example, yeah, is actually produced in the US, and how much of this car, these components, come from abroad. Yeah? And then you have to explode the bill of materials. You have to look, okay, now if 70% of parts come from abroad, how are they taxed then? Or if 30% only of the parts come from abroad, how are they taxed? And then you have to calculate again. You have to add those big taxes into your profit and loss margin. And I would be surprised if there would be any profit left. So it'll be challenging, very challenging. It's not as simple as you think at the first place. Yeah, it's a challenge. Then you have to think, okay, what do I do now with this additional cost? Yeah, do I compensate this from my margin? Profit margin? And actually that's what stock market fears, because that's why stocks are falling, plummeting, tanking like crazy. Yeah. or can I give part of this cost to the consumer, but then I need pricing power, yeah, because as you know, if you raise prices, your sales numbers plummet, yeah, and then you cannot sell enough because people don't have endless money, yeah, and are only willing to pay so and so much. So you will have to make forecasts. You will have to see, okay, how much pricing power do I have? How much of that price can I give to the consumer? Yeah. And if that doesn't suffice, if you cannot give that increased price to the consumer, and if your margin goes to zero, turns negative, or is too low, what do you have to do? Yeah, maybe you have to lay off, yeah, workers. That's going to be bad, because if you once trigger this layoff cycle, then you go into a recession, and that's what what everybody feared anyways. The U.S. economy to drop into a recession, yeah. So the odds were not so high in the latest month. Some say yes, some say no. Yeah, some stay optimistic. Tom Lee always was optimistic, but he's silent now for 3 days. So yeah, the odds of a recession have risen dramatically, and that's no joking anymore. Yeah? And at the same time, the odds of rising prices, which is back hitting inflation, so then we have the risk of a stagflation. Stagflation is the worst possible scenario that you want to have in an economy. So then that's also not very funny. Excuse me. Yeah, so let that sink in, yeah? Let that sink in. So this is nothing only filling out tax forms or something like this. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then you need to think, how do I use these insights, yeah, to adapt fast. Yeah? The faster you get insights, the faster you can adapt, yeah? And it will affect your business processes. It will affect everything in your company, actually. It's not just tax forms. Yeah. So I've made a list. What came to my mind, like procurement and sourcing, for example. Yeah. Tariff. Yeah. Volatility. Make predictable supplier contracts obsolete. Yeah. You have maybe supply contracts, but if you change the complete, so to say, cost for that, you start by zero. Yeah? You have to resource. Yeah? Also, yeah, as it said, retaliatory risks. China rare earth embargo hits core industries like EVs, defense, and electronics. So that's going to be fun. And yeah, ERP. Yeah, systems must now support dynamic sourcing models, alternate supplier scoring, and tariff-inclusive cost simulations. Yeah. Is your ERP able to do that? I doubt. Recommendations: activate real-time vendor intelligence and integrate geopolitical risk scoring into SRM models. That's what we need now. Yeah. That's what we need now. Next one: supply chain planning. Time to react is shrinking. Yeah. As you have seen, reciprocal tariffs start within days, not quarters. Yeah, it's what? Last Wednesday, hey, we will have these tariffs this Wednesday. They will come into effect. A week. Are you kidding me? A week? Yeah. So there's still some hope talking. Yeah, maybe Trump will delay these tariffs because he needs time to negotiate. And then Trump saying, no, they will take effect. Yeah. So that's going to be something. Time to react is shrinking. Material dependency, as I said, there we have them. Samarium, gadolinium, dysprosium. I didn't even know that these rare earth exist, and they sound like from a science fiction novel, but actually these are essential critical rare earths for producing IT technologies, for example. Yeah? Production schedules may collapse overnight, yeah, if they are potentially blocked from China. They come from China. A lot of that comes from China. I don't know where would you source them if you won't get them anymore. Yeah. Okay. So people hope to source some meteorites or something like this, but we are not thus far advanced yet. So yeah. So what do you do with your traditional MRP and demand planning logic based on historical demand? It's just worthless. Yeah. It's worthless in this moment because you don't have the possibility to have that scenario. Yeah? Historical demand does not help you. Yeah? So you need to shift to AI, augmented scenario-based planning. Yeah? Live integration with custom tariff API data sources, yeah, becomes essential. So that's gonna be very, very... Okay, sales and distribution. You need to explode your bill of materials, critical items, yeah, batteries, rare earth dependent parts, yeah, will vanish from inventories. They will be consumed up. And then what do you do? Yeah. Product margin, yeah. If no laptop now not cost $1,000 but $3,500, margin-based pricing must be recalculated on the fly. How do you do that? Huh? That's crazy. ATP available to promise, yeah. Global pricing engines must absorb sudden cost inflation and stock outs. How do you do that? Yeah. Do you have an ATP engine available to promise that have this scenario? ATP is challenging enough, complicated enough actually, yeah. With all the parameters and delivery times and stock and calculations and whatever strategies, and some might have stocked up already in. No, that might. We know that many have filled their stock already in preparation for these tariffs. Yeah, but yeah, what about those who haven't? Yeah, and what if the stock is consumed up, and so on and so on. So we need adaptive pricing engine. Yeah. Or tariff zones akin to tax localization and so on and so on. Yeah, as I said, cash management and hoarding capital. Yeah, we might have already inventory hoarding, or we have inventory hoarding in some places. Yeah, just in time will collapse due to just in case. You don't know. Companies may have piled inventory ahead of tariff escalations, or may now wake up to a scarcity situations. Yeah, so that will be real. That will be real. Yeah. And then you have to have a look at your cash, yeah, because in such a crisis, cash is king. Yeah, what do you do without any cash? How do you survive? Yeah, that is going to be very focused point. You need cash. Yeah, if you are good in cash, then you are good. So if you can do anything with your ERP system that helps you to improve your cash or relieve your cash pressure, so that's something, yeah. And as you have input cost surge, your cash conversion slows. So you need real-time visibility into liquidity drains, especially in materials-heavy industry, is now a must. Yeah? Integrate AI-driven cash flow forecasting. Use ERP to simulate inventory to cash dynamics under stress. And compliance, trade, and risk management. You have to stay compliant. I mean, doing such a short notice tariff is very near to forcing companies into non-compliance. So I don't know what I should say onto that. But yeah, so that will be very challenging even in organizational means. And new legal entities might be the solution, because you have to maybe restructure globally, yeah, to dodge specific tariffs actually, like shutting down some legal entities, ramping up some legal entities, which is not done overnight. You need audit grade traceability, new rules, VAT difference, yeah, Spark and search and audit trail demands if you have international business. It's going to be very challenging, even a nightmare. Great compliance must move from bolt-on tools to core architecture. Rules change weekly now. So if you don't have a good integration of global trade services and compliance engines with live policy feeds, that's going to be very hard. Yeah, it's going to be very hard. So, what do we do? As I said, fast time to insight, fast time to adapt. This is what I say. We are not good anymore with just traditional ERP as a system of records. That's now. Now it's not only outdated, yeah, it is sand-sacking you. What we need now is an insight-led ERP. Yeah? An ERP that gives you fast time to insights and the possibility of fast time to adapt. If you have a system landscape that consists of many system parts and interfaces, custom and so on, this will at least sandbag you, yeah, at least, sandbag you, yeah, that's the right term. Sandbag you the least, or even crush you. Yeah, that can be very hard. But when you have an ERP that is an insight-led ERP, yeah, in real time, fast time to insight, fast time to adapt, because you're connected to the data sources, you're connected to and you can react, you can see your processes, yeah, if your processes are compliant, if your processes, and you have to revisit your actually processes. You have to check your processes. Are your processes now still up to date, or do you need to change them? Yeah, we have discussed many of these situations, and in just these minutes and this live stream. So it's not an option anymore. Yeah, it's now a question of. For some, it may be a question of survival. Yeah? And I hope for some, it will be not too late actually. We've preached this, go to Cloud ERP, use S/4HANA Cloud, use process intelligence for months, if not even years, and we've done this with our customers, and they are prepared. Our customers are prepared for the situations. It will also still be challenging, yeah, but yeah, it is the time now. It is the time now to switch from the traditional ERP to insight-led ERP. Yeah? But first of all, surviving, cash, and then finding a way of using these, as we say, tool set, mindset, and skill set to create digital asset which help you navigate this crisis. Yeah, so follow us on LinkedIn. I will keep you updated if I come to. I will probably give some other live streams the next days. I've not made yet an exact plan, but yeah, you're invited to follow us, follow me, and let us discuss. Tell me your opinion. Tell us your opinion. What do you think about it? Are we oversaturating? Are we like having too negative viewpoint or too positive? Yeah, as I say, it's always better it's better safe than sorry. Yeah, so it's. Okay, maybe after 2 weeks everything is like, oh, it was just joking. We have now trade agreements and whatever, zero tariffs and free trade and whatever. Yeah, but of course we hope of that. Yeah, because everybody knows free trade is healthy for the economy. We know that. Yeah, it's nothing to be discussed. It's absolutely clear. Yeah. But we don't know if it will happen. And wishful thinking is not a strategy. Hopium, that's hopium. Yeah, let's hope it will get better. I don't know. We hope that already, and it's not getting better. It's getting worse by the day, even by the minute. Yeah, even now, as I said, yeah, this morning I read this, war talk, yeah, about Taiwan, and it is going to be serious. So, but let's not give into fear. There's always a way out, but we have to be very focused. We have to be very diligent, and we have to do our homework. Do it now, and not postpone it until better times or whatever. Yeah, and yeah, so good luck out there, and let me know what you think. It's good being together again, and good luck.